Hello and welcome to Access Sportsnet Lakers, brought to you by Arrowhead Mountain Spring Water. Chris McGee, James Worthy, Allie Clifton, Mike Bresnahan. We have Trudell down in the locker room out there in Charlotte. Lakers hold on to get the win. They survive a late Hornets push. They've now won 4 in a row, 6 of 7 in their 8 games over 500 for the first time this season. They opened up a 23-point lead in the first quarter. AD had a monster game, but the Hornets were plus 24 from 3, and the Lakers turned the ball over, James, 19 times for 28 Charlotte points. That's what kind of kept Charlotte in the game, but the Lakers hold on to get the win. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, it's almost the tale of two halves. You know, AD starting out dominating in the first half. Lakers had that big lead, and then all of a sudden they went away from that, started to turn the ball over, took Charlotte for granted. Even without ball, they were even, still a dangerous team, seemed like coming back. But, you take the win, you move on, and get ready for the next one.
Yeah, I think throughout the course of an 82-game season, you're going to have games like this where they're not always going to be pretty, but you learn to accept the wins. You figure out, you watch the film, ways in which you can be better. I think the biggest thing is in the past, we've looked at box scores and seen 19 turnovers for 28 points. We've seen being outscored by 24 from deep, and it has not resulted in a win.
Yeah.
So using that word connected in moments when the game kind of gets twisted is something we're seeing move in the right direction for the Lakers. They got it done.
I like the fact they win the games they have to. Okay, we said on the pregame show, got to beat this team tonight. They're not very good, especially after they lose LaMelo Ball with 9 minutes of playing time. He's done. You got to beat Philly tomorrow. No Paul George and no Embiid. Lakers should be favored to do that. And finally, you got to win in Washington. That's really not a good team. They keep putting away the teams they're supposed to. Now 16-2 against teams below 500. That's impressive. I wish they were a little better against teams over 500. But bottom line, Geet, they did what they had to do. Wasn't pretty, lost a huge lead. Some people were really nervous about how this game was going to end, but they got it.
And that worries me. That worries me. The teams that they should put away, when you start like they did, you can't afford to give that up. You got to go ahead and finish that out. That's the one thing, teams that are not that good, especially without ball, you cannot allow them to get back in the game. That could have gone ugly. Mm-hmm. A couple of shots gone one way or the other, but I'd like to see them being able to finish these games and not allow teams to get back in the game.
By the way, Lakers have now defeated the Eastern Conference in 6 straight games after starting 3-7 this year, so that's a good sign. Let's go back to Charlotte. Jared Vanderbilt is with Mike Trudell.
All right, Jared, we know there are no easy wins in the NBA. Charlotte was always going to keep coming back. What did it take to just put them away down the stretch?
Man, it took us all locking in. The way the league going right now, a 20-point lead ain't safe, especially with a team like this that play hard, shoot a lot of threes. So we started off really well, and then that's on me and some of the second unit. We kind of, took a foot off the gas where we should have kept going. But shout out to the guys for locking in on those last 2 quarters and coming together and just playing harder than them.
Just your second game back from injury, Jared. Kind of a typical Jared Vanderbilt play, though, halfway through the fourth quarter. You jump a passing lane, get the steal, go down and dunk it. And you could tell kind of LeBron and AD came over to you and said, hey, that's what we need.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I feel like when I'm in my element. So shot wasn't falling. I'm still trying to get my feet under me a little bit. But the one thing I can't control is just playing hard and playing physical. And I think by picking up and trying to get them out of late sets, it kind of shifted the game for us. So
you guys are playing your best basketball of the season. The wins are coming now. What kind of rhythm do you think you're building as a team?
We're building great rhythm. It was a little funky today. We had lineups that hasn't played together, so it's going to take a little time. But guys are locked in on both ends of the floor. We communicating, we gelling, and we're just playing good basketball right now on both ends.
Exactly. All right. Last one for you. I know you got to get on the plane, get some ice on, and go to Philly for a back-to-back. What's the key from a veteran like you in a back-to-back situation?
Recovery. Recover your body. Especially when we travel tonight, so make sure guys, whatever they got to do, whether it's ice, stretch, treatment, get some sleep. It's a quick turnaround. So that's the main thing for back-to-backs.
Thanks, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, brother.
Jared Vanderbilt, loved what he had to say there about controlling how you play hard and play physical. So AD, we mentioned the monster game that he had. These are the most career games with 40 and 20. You see AD down there in 9th place with 5. He actually has 6, but they don't count it because he did it again in the NBA Cup Finals a year ago, if you recall that. Wilt Chamberlain did it, 231 times. Elgin did it 34 times. Bob Pettit on there, some unbelievable names. Of course, Bob McAdoo, Big Game's friend, Kareem. your old teammate and good buddy 16 times. Moses, 7 times. So pretty cool company for AD. Guys, he was absolutely magnificent. What he did in that first quarter, 21-11. He's the first guy. Listen, they've been tracking this since 1996. He's the first guy to ever do that in the first quarter of a game. Whoa. He's only the second guy to ever do that in any quarter. Giannis once did it as well. That alone, Big Game James, is absolutely an incredible stat.
Absolutely, Gita. And a lot of it he was doing with plays that were for him. Mm-hmm. But then what I love is what he was getting in traffic. Offensive rebounds, putbacks. I think he had 8 offensive rebounds tonight. And when he wasn't getting, like, open shots, he was outworking his opponents to get to the basketball. So he was on one tonight. It was nice.
231, by the way. I'm sorry. That is insane.
Yeah, it's hard to wrap your head around.
Taking nothing away from Anthony Davis and how incredible, but 231 is nuts. I think, too, just seeing the focus and what we saw from AD from the jump, everyone just looked like a drill cone out there, like an orange cone. Like he wasn't seeing any opponent and standing in his way. He was getting to his spots. He was getting what he wanted, and he did it within the flow of the offense. And I think, too, that really was something that was a catalyst for the offense there in the first quarter. As we talked about, the 11 assists on the 16 made field goals had everyone connected. I also think the positive, too, in a sense of first understanding when AD's not on the floor. That's something that needs to be, I think, addressed in a sense of how the offense flows, what the rotations look like. I know Vando just mentioned, and there was a lineup out there that hadn't had a lot of time with one another. But when things got tough, we didn't see AD fade away. We continued to see him throughout the second half. They went to him early in the third quarter and continued there in the fourth. And that's obviously a positive, and just understanding who your bread and butter is and feeding off that the rest of the way. Here are some of the things we've been talking about a lot lately. Max Christie, playing good basketball. LeBron, ageless wonder at age 40. Dorian Finney-Smith, good acquisition for the Lakers. Austin Reeves, playing good, dishing out the ball, scoring the ball. You know who we're not talking about? Anthony Davis. Because I feel like we're so used to him getting 28 points, 12 or 13 rebounds, 4 or 5 stocks, because he's so reliable and so dependable. He doesn't rip any headlines and say, yeah, I did this, I did that. So finally he did tonight with a 40-20 game. Good job by AD. And by the way, Mark Williams is having a pretty good run lately as the Charlotte center. He was just a speed bump for LeBron and for AD and for anyone who really wanted to get in that lane tonight. Good job, AD. Maybe we should talk about you a little bit more on these shows. There's been a couple other headlines we can get to, but great job by him tonight. He's just so steady. It's crazy.
All right, guys, let's get to JJ Redick. He's speaking with Mike in the media.
JJ, what did you make of AD's night?
He put in two days of work tonight. 21 and 11 in the first quarter, I think it was, and 21 and 12 the rest of the way. Just carried us all night. Felt like, we moved him around. He played with force. I thought his hands and touch and just the pursuit of the basketball on the offensive glass, all that stuff was just awesome tonight.
You had to use a bunch of groups that you haven't used just with guys out and Vanderbilt back. What's the difficulty of kind of having those guys find a rhythm and shorten?
Yeah, be honest with you. I said this to Bob when I was walking off the court. We played hard for 4 quarters. Now, it was not pretty, but we played hard for 4 quarters. I think for me, we made a lot of mental errors tonight. And look, I don't know if that's coming off Saturday and the long flight yesterday and getting acclimated to East Coast time, but it felt a little bit of brain fog, less so than just guys not playing. Guys played hard tonight, and guys were connected tonight. We just had a lot of mental errors. We had 3 timeouts in the first half that we didn't run the correct play. The Doe's pass with the clock running. We don't need to get it out quickly after a made basket with 3 minutes to go and a lead. Just stuff like that. There was a lot of mental errors more so than just, effort and talk and all that stuff. Our guys were great with that tonight.
You've mentioned before that you feel like AD's at his most dynamic when you guys are getting him on the move, getting positions where he can score off the move. How have you felt you guys have done that over, not just tonight, obviously, the big performance, but over the course of maybe the past week or so?
Yeah, we've been good with it. AD on the move in the pocket is really good. And, Golden State gave us a huge pocket. Mark Williams started the game in a deep drop. But it, more so than just what we were running, it was how he was playing and getting down the court early, creating mismatches. When they did read the LeBron AD pick and roll, it wasn't just, all right, I'm going to go down and LeBron's going to ISO and then I'm going to get that back on defense. It was, I have a mismatch. I can be on the offensive glass. And so I think just the force that he played with all night was fantastic.
JJ, what did you make of kind of the pace at which you guys played with in the third and fourth quarters? And how do you balance sort of like LeBron's ability to draw like these incredible mismatches versus kind of the way the ball popped early?
Yeah, I mean, that's typical of our team in the third quarter. So it's not, and then fourth quarter, we're an execution team. I think missing Gabe tonight, hurt, just, having a little bit more of a ball handler mover type guy. And that allows us to then move AR off the ball for some movement. We didn't, I drew it up twice. Vando messed it up the first time, but, we got to the ATO. We wanted to, and AR off ball, and he hit a floater there in the fourth quarter. So like, there's just like a compounding effect to guys being out and guys not having played a ton of minutes together.
JJ, what did you make of Vando's second game and how he continues to progress and acclimate?
He plays hard. He's a banshee. So, excited to have him continue to build up his conditioning and tolerance level for minutes. And, he was a spark tonight. The play where he got the steal, I believe it was 94-88. I had called the timeout after Okogie had gotten the and one, I think, to get it to 88. And it was a 91-88 game. And then we scored. But then we were having a lot of trouble scoring, and our defense was really good in that stretch. We got, I think it was 3 or 4 at least stops in a row. And then Vando gets that steal to put us up 8. And it was kind of like, that was huge. The offensive rebounds, creating second opportunities, getting fouled when he was crashing the glass. So he just does all the things we want him to do. And he was high level tonight.